Cartoon Network is called Cartoon Network for a reason.
We got a gorilla for sale. We got a gorilla for sale.
They're the premier network to go for cartoons. That's what they did best. If you wanted live-action kids shows, you'd go to Disney Channel or Nickelodeon. However, in 2009, Cartoon Network wanted to compete with the other networks, so they created CN Reel. Today, I'll be looking into a few of these shows and seeing what they're all about.
I'm Andrew WK, and this is Destroy, Build, Destroy!
The competition where two teams destroy stuff and use the wreckage to build awesome machines to compete with. Destroy, Build, Destroy is very self-explanatory. You have two teams, the green team and the orange team. Although, I think the colors changed every season. One team is usually filled with nerds who are better at the building part, and the other team is cooler kids who are good at destruction.
Hawkeye.
This helps balancing the show out a bit because the nerds are so focused on building machines that work properly, but they don't take into consideration the strength of it, while the other team does the opposite, min-maxing their machines to be as strong as possible, but often can get destroyed very quickly. To start, each team picks a different method of destroying the other team's vehicle. This is integral because each team can only rebuild with the scraps of the destroyed vehicles. So there's some real strategy involved to making sure you're picking the most destructive method. After the destruction of each other's vehicles, it's time to begin destroying. One of the biggest issues these teams face is internal fighting. One kid always wants to be the leader and never takes advice from the others. Or nobody wants to be the leader and things don't get done.
Chloe's strength is that she's got a lot of leadership potential, but she won't stop talking.
After a while of building and arguing, the two teams take a break for a challenge. The winning team then gets to hurt the other team's vehicle, but these are mostly just mild irritations at worst, like getting a dump truck of gravel dumped on their car, or a giant fan to blow things away. After this, the two teams finish building the machines and compete in the final challenge. The winning team then gets $3,000 and to annihilate the loser's creation. The show is hosted by Andrew WK, a musician and husband to Kat Dennings.
That should be me, holding your hand. That should be me, making you laugh. That should be me, this is so sad.
I'm not sure I'll ever recover from this. I have to admit, even though Andrew is public enemy number one,
I hate you!
He's actually a pretty good host for this sort of thing. He has a lot of energy, he's very interactive with the kids, and he always wears the exact same fit in every episode.
That is the worst outfit choice.
He also has a really good host voice. It's no secret that I was kind of an idiot as a kid, because I always thought that Andrew WK and Chris McLean from Total Drama Island were the same actor, just because their voices were slightly similar.
I'm Andrew WK.
I'm your host, Chris McLean.
Also, totally off topic, but why is Chris McLean on the Villains Wiki under the name Evildoer? And he has a list of crimes including, but not limited to, mass murder, manslaughter, kidnapping, and terrorism. I'm not up to date on the Total Drama lore, but I don't remember him doing any of that stuff. Anyway, back to Destroy, Build, Destroy. Premiering in 2009 and lasting 4 seasons, this has to be the single most Obama-era show imaginable. The outfits, the lingo, even the premise, it perfectly encapsulates that awkward period between Y2K and the 2010s. I've got to say, DBD is actually pretty enjoyable. It's fun to watch things get destroyed, rebuilt, and repurposed, and then destroyed again. Although, I don't know how much the first destroy really matters ultimately, since the cars don't really get destroyed that much, and the show gives them all the materials they'll wind up needing anyway. It's not like MasterChef, where the teams sometimes don't have the right ingredients or enough time. With this show, they always finish within the right amount of time with the right amount of materials. As a kid, I remember them promoting and rerunning the show constantly, and it got to the point where I began to spite the show because of it. Everyone else I knew loved the show, and I can see why. It's the perfect show for a late 2000s boy.
But I am a bit of a martial arts expert, so I'm gonna win this competition. There's no doubt about it.
If Mythbusters was marketed towards 10-year-old boys and the hosts actually liked each other, is how I would describe Dude, What Would Happen. Every episode starts with an initial problem, then the boys ask, Dude, what would happen? Then they suggest an outlandish idea.
Dude, what would happen if we tried to cool off with a trunk full of lemonade?
They then test the theory and modify the plan with another, Dude, what would happen? So, for example, in this episode, Jackson is annoyed that CJ doesn't have AC in his car.
What do you suggest we do?
So, dude, what would happen if we put lemonade in the trunk, is asked. So, they empty CJ's trunk and add a tank of lemonade, sipping on it as they drive. But they find out that this isn't an effective solution. So, dude, what would happen if we filled your car with water? And that's what they do. But as you can imagine, that has its own issues. So, they turn his car into a convertible and then use a flamethrower to make it a hot tub. Now, that doesn't really help solve the initial problem, but go off, Kings. Do the same process one more time per episode with a different problem, problem, and that's the entire show. I'm not sure what this says about me, but I actually like it. It's kind of just guys being dudes with a budget. Mythbusters was always very literal with the name, trying to bust myths, but Dude What Would Happen says, what if we had the dumbest idea you can think of and executed it?
Dudes, what would happen if we tried to lift a sumo using 375 helium balloons?
Some of these ideas are pretty simple, like, dude, what would happen if we tied a stuffed animal to a bunch of helium balloons? Yeah, like, no shit, it's gonna fly. As a kid, I always preferred Dude What Would Happen over Destroyed Build Destroy. I think it was because the dudes were closer in age to me than bitch-ass Andrew was.
I hate the way that you walk, the way that you talk.
What was I saying? Oh yeah. The dudes were only 10 years older than me, so it felt like I was watching cool high schoolers doing cool shit and having a blast while doing it.
Alright, so does it feel like you guys are in the ocean?
It feels like I'm in a car filled with water.
Saturday Night Live is a sketch comedy show that's been running for 40 plus years. In that time, the thought, dude, what would happen if SNL, but for kids, was asked multiple times. Nick was the first to do this with all that in the 90s. Disney Channel also had their own version called So Random, the show in Sunny with a Chance made real.
Oh, you're not gonna believe this!
And then there's Cartoon Network. They had their own sketch comedy show called Incredible Crew.
Here they come, y'all. Here they come. Here they come, y'all. Here they come. Here they come, y'all. Here they come.
My crew, my crew, my crew, my crew, my crew, my crew, my crew is incredible. My crew, my crew, my crew, my crew, my crew, my crew, my crew is incredible.
Created by Nick Cannon of all people, Incredible Crew ran from 2012 to 2013, only lasting 13 episodes. A standard episode would be a compilation of a few longer sketches with a handful of short ones sprinkled in. The sketches of the shows would be anywhere from 10 seconds to 3 minutes. It really felt like you were scrolling on TikTok every time you watch an episode. Each episode also consisted of at least one song. These were always my favorite part of the episodes growing up. I thought they were so funny. There were two in particular that I was obsessed with. The first was running errands with my mom.
I'm running errands with my mom. Running, 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 running. I'm running errands with my mom. Running, 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 running. I'm running errands with my mom. Running, 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 running. With who? My mom. With who? My mom.
Guys, I'm not even gonna hold you. This song still slaps. It's just such a funny concept to rap about running errands with your mom. Jeremy Shada would rather be going grocery shopping than hanging out with girls. It's so stupid, but oh so effective. You can totally see the island, the Lonely Island inspiration with this one.
Cause I'm an island boy and I've been trying to make.
I quote this line far more than I care to admit.
Mad trippin' Linda, your shows don't match your purse.
Also, the way that the mom says soup always just scratches an itch in my brain.
Soup?
The other song I was obsessed with is called Reading Can Be Fun.
Come with me to a place of fantasy.
The plot of the sketch is that the book club needs a new anthem and Cornelius is the only one who made one. But you can already tell he's going to be a weirdo based on the way they're ignoring him. He then plays a song, which is about as odd as you can expect, and when I tell you I was obsessed, I mean, I recorded this song using my DS's voice recorder, which could only record like 10 seconds, so my entire folder was just this song. I thought this part specifically was the funniest thing I'd ever heard.
When you read your favorite book, you forget all about your mom.
I don't even know why, but I used to pee my pants with laughter every time that part came up. The sketch then ends with the fencing club needing to make a commercial, and once again, Cornelius is the only one who made a commercial, and it's the exact same as the book club.
This commercial emphasizes the imagination of fencing.
I'll admit, that got me. That's really funny. I think The Incredible Crew is really funny sometimes. The two songs I just talked about hold up surprisingly well. I think where the show struggled was to pull in viewers. Cartoon Network learned the hard way that kids didn't want to watch live action shows on a channel called Cartoon Network. Incredible Crew was the last live action show Cartoon Network tried. It helped launch the careers of Jeremy Shada and Shamik Moore, and since then, Cartoon Network has almost exclusively run Teen Titans Go reruns.
Yo, what up, ladies?
Is that a minivan?
I think it's really interesting to look back on this era of Cartoon Network because everywhere you go online, everyone just refers to this as a complete failure. But I feel that's unfair. These shows were actually pretty entertaining. It's obvious that in the early 2010s era, Cartoon Network was trying something new. I talked a lot about the cartoons of this era in this video, and while most of them were bad, you have to applaud the network for stepping out of the box and doing something new, unlike what they're doing now. As a child, I tended to avoid these shows almost entirely because they weren't cartoons. And, well, it seems like most children felt the same way. Cartoon Network took a risk, and unfortunately, it didn't pay off. Oh well, we always have the Scooby-Doo movie.
Hate this job.
Thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to hear more about obscure childhood TV shows, then I have an entire playlist of videos you can watch. I'll catch you guys later. Bye!
Soup